Welcome to finding the volume of prisms. Here we have three different prisms: rectangular, triangular, and cylinder. But we are going to use a similar method of finding the volume for all three. In our previous unit, we were looking at surface area of all of these prisms, and in surface area, we were looking at the area of each of the faces of the prisms, whether it be rectangular, triangular, circular. We were looking for the area. In volume, we simply need the area of the base, and then we're going to multiply that by the height. With that, then, looking at the rectangular prism, we will be determining the area of the base of the rectangle, and then multiplying it by the height, the base of the triangle, and multiplying it by the height, the base of the cylinder, and the height. Looking first at the rectangular prism, we're going to find the volume by finding the area of the base times the height. Now this is the one that you probably have already memorized well, that's just length times width times height. And certainly it is, because after all, when you're looking at the base, you always measure it as length times width, and then we would simply multiply that by the height. So in this particular case, then, volume is going to be equal to 10 times 8 times 3, or 240 centimeters cubed. Now this is cubed because we are multiplying it by multiplying three dimensions: centimeters times centimeters times centimeters. And the easiest way to write that then is centimeters cubed. Moving now to the cylinder, again we're going to look at the area of the base times the height. But this time our base is a circle. And so our formula will change slightly to volume equals area of a circle, which is pi r squared, and that's going to be multiplied by the height. So here we have the volume equals pi times the radius squared, which is 16, times the height of 10, for a total volume of 502.65, again, centimeters cubed. Lastly, with the volume of prisms, we are going to look at triangular prisms. In the example that I have listed here, the prism is sitting on its triangular base. So it's straightforward. Figure out the area of the base and multiply by the height. The base in this case, we can see, is 6 centimeters, and that the height of the triangle itself is the 5.2 centimeters. So the first thing we have to do then is find the area of the base. So here I've started looking at the volume, and I've written in the 6 times 5.2 over 2, which is finding the area of the triangular base. And then I'm going to multiply that by the height of the prism. So this gets a little confusing when we look at it here, because I have height and I have height, and those are two different values. So when you're looking at this, keep in mind that when you're finding the area of the base, that the triangle has its height, which is separate from the height of the prism. And often when you see this formula, they will have labeled them separately, given that the height of the prism may be noted as depth instead of height. So let's go on with the calculation. And here I've done the calculation, and we end up with a volume for this prism of 46.8 centimeters cubed. Remember, volume is always given as a cubic unit. Triangular prisms also present another problem, as in they are often shown sitting on one of their lateral or rectangular sides instead of on their triangular base. But for purposes of finding the volume, you still want to see it as if it were sitting up on its triangular base, and find the area of the base and then multiply it by the height. So in this case, our triangle is over here, and we have the height of the triangle given as a 6.7, and the base of the triangle as 4, and then the height of the prism would be the 12. So let me find that calculation. The area of the triangular base then is 13.4, and multiplying that by 12 for the height, and you get a total volume of 160.8 centimeters cubed. This concludes our video on finding the volume of prisms.